Greetings and welcome. It's Russell Paul Arthur here, and in this video presentation I would like to share with you what it means to be a citizen that lives in servitude to a state. So at the end of this presentation you are aware of how your life is under authoritative control of state imposed rulership and what you can do to unshackle yourself from being a citizen that lives in bondage. I begin with this opening statement. Most people in this world are born into a corporate legal world of bondage and debt. You have unknowingly been living your entire life as a corporate legal entity, and where you are in bondage servitude to the Crown, state, and its public domain. So, how did this happen? Many years ago, for a process known as the birth registration, your parents registered your life to the Crown and state, and you became registered as a citizen. Your parents unknowingly abandoned your sovereign freedoms and rights as they registered your life to the Crown and state, where you became a subject of the Crown and a citizen of the state, where the Crown and state rules over your life. And here is what is important for you to know. As a citizen of the state only recognizes and treats you as a corporate legal entity and not as the living man and woman that you truly are. You operate in a public domain as a corporate legal entity known as a citizen. The citizen is a name and title that was created by the state. The citizen is a character of law. The citizen is a concept and fiction. The citizen is a dead and lifeless corporate legal entity. This means the citizen is not a living man or woman. The citizen is not the true you. The citizen is a corporate legal construct. And this means two of you exist in this world. There is the true you, a living man or woman, and there is the fictional you, a corporate legal entity known as a citizen. However, you as a living man or woman, your actual life has become bonded to the citizen, where you give life to the citizen, where you as a living man or woman are the bonded surety and guarantor who is liable for everything that you do in the name of the citizen. This means when you as a living man or woman identify, act, and register or contract in the public domain as the citizen, you are taking responsibility for the citizen. You are agreeing to be treated as the citizen. You are accepting the conditions and liabilities that are attached to the citizen. And the citizen is under the authoritative control of the Crown and state. The citizen is a corporate legal entity that is bound to the dictates of the Crown and state with no sovereign freedoms and rights. Instead, the citizen is a character of law with diminished status, standing, and capacity in this world. The citizen has been granted civil rights. These are civil rights that stem from Roman civil law. Roman civil law was a law imposed by Rome to subjugate and control the citizens of Rome. The citizens of Rome served Rome. Roman civil law includes laws that were created for slavery, for how to keep and treat slaves. And the civil law that you are bound to as a citizen is a modern day version of Roman civil law, where you as a citizen have diminished rights. Rights that really are privileges, because these rights have been granted to you by the government and these rights can be revoked by the government at any time and for whatever reason the government decides. This means as long as you continue to pose as the citizen, continue to be accountable and liable to the state has the authority to remove your freedoms and rights, which is a complete and utter desecration of your natural and inherent freedoms and rights as a sovereign power in this world. Here are some more interesting facts that you need to know about the status of a citizen. The citizen is a ward of the state. This means the citizen is in the care of the state, where the state has assumed the default responsibility for your life. As a ward of the state can legally take control of your life. The state can detain you and remove you from society whenever the public authorities determine that you are a threat to yourself or a threat to public health and safety. And while this is a reasonable thing for them to do if there is potential for you to cause harm, damages and loss, this also means the state has the power to determine if your actions are acceptable or unacceptable. Where the public authorities could make arbitrary decisions about your behaviour, could impose strict rules and regulations where one size fits all, but the size does not match your personal circumstances. And these powers that the state has over its citizens includes your children, because your children are also citizens and wards of the state. In any circumstances where the state has determined that your children are at risk, the state has the powers to remove your children from your home. As a citizen of the state, you do not have the sovereign power to self-determine your life. The state has paramount authority and can intervene and interpose into the affairs of your life whenever the state has determined that you are not acting or living in accordance with the state-imposed rulership. When you pose as a citizen, when you identify and act as a citizen of the state, you are effectively agreeing to be ruled over. You are forfeiting your sovereign freedoms and rights. You are consenting to the inferior status of being a citizen that serves the dictates of the state. You are volunteering to live in bonded servitude to the state. The citizen is not just a corporate legal entity. The citizen is a franchise of the state. When you become a citizen, you become a member of the general public. You are granted the privilege of accessing public facilities and using public services where you operate in the public domain under the authorization of the state as a franchise of the state. Each and every time that you register and contract with the state as a citizen, you are affirming your role as a franchise. Whenever you register property, register a business, register a profession, gain a license or qualification from the state, you are agreeing to be a franchise of the state. This means you are agreeing to bond the value of your life to all the state-imposed legislations, statutes, acts, rules, regulations and codes that have been designed to control, extort and punish your life as a citizen of the state. As a citizen, you are a franchise of the state. You are incorporated into the state as part of the state, where the state owns and controls the value and rights of your life and livelihood. Your life and livelihood has been placed into a public trust arrangement that is part of the Crown Commonwealth. The Crown and State has taken absolute authoritative control over your life and livelihood. In this arrangement, you think that you have freedom, but you do not have freedom. In this arrangement, you are in bondage. You are bound to the constraints, bound to the limitations, restrictions, rules and regulations of the Crown and State. Your life and livelihood as a citizen is not free and independent. You cannot do anything as a citizen without gaining permission and license from your master. Your master is the Crown and State. You are involved in modern day slavery. You are a citizen in servitude. As a citizen, you serve the state. And contrary to what you may believe, the nation state does not serve you. The state is not here for you. The state has been formed with a government, and the government serves the interests of the Crown. The state is here to administrate the Crown Commonwealth for and on behalf of the Crown. As a registered citizen, you are part of the Crown Commonwealth. You are an interest of the Crown. You are under the authority of the government that was formed to administrate your life. What I have just described is a complete inversion of how things should be. We should live in a free society where the state and government serves the best interest of the people and protects your freedoms and rights. But we do not. And this is very clear to see for those of us who have awakened to see the nightmare that is unfolding of a tyrannical and oppressive system that has trampled over and suppressed human freedoms and rights. And of course, none of this is a problem for those who benefit from the system, who live a life of comfort, luxury and ease, who hold an important position within the system as an agent or official of the state. Being a citizen is not an issue for those who are busy rushing to their death as they chase the money and juggle the debt. Being a citizen is not a problem for those fast asleep and inured to a life of persistent suffering. But some of us, and this could include you, have grown disenfranchised with living in a society that dishonours life. If you are truly awake and switched on to what's really going on in this world, if you truly understand the treachery and deception of this world, if you no longer wish to participate in the ugly shit show, for lack of a better word, that is unfolding before your eyes, if you are yearning for a better life, a life with deeper meaning and greater experience, then perhaps you are ready for change. And I'm not talking about false change, where delusional and deceitful politicians make false promises of how things will get much better once they are in power. And yet, despite the thousands of years that government has existed and functioned, despite all the politicians and political parties that have come and gone, nothing has got better. In fact, things have got worse. Things have got worse because there is a systemic default, and you simply cannot improve something that is systemically rotten to the core. When something is beyond retrieve, it's time to let go and throw it out with the rest of the junk. Unfortunately, your life as a citizen is trapped within a broken and corrupt system that is beyond retrieve. No matter who you vote for, no matter what you believe in, no matter what hopes you have, you simply cannot rise above circumstances when the circumstances of your nation are designed to keep you down. Therefore, if you want real change that makes a real difference to your life and those you love dearly, you must start again fresh. You must head to new pastures. You must plant new seeds. But, and this part is crucial, before you can start again, you must first release yourself from bondage. You must unshackle your mind, body and soul from the detriments of a system that does not serve your best interests. The unshackling begins when you no longer accept the diminished status of a citizen. When you decide you will no longer be the subject of a crown or the ward of a state. Where you make a conscious choice that you will no longer participate in a system that does not care if you win or lose. You can remove yourself from bondage to the crown and state. You can perform a lawful procedure known as a status correction. What is status and why would you need to correct it? Your status is your standing and position in this world in relation to the society that you live in. It is how the society officially recognizes and treats you. And in society, there are different people with different status, from kings, queens, presidents, politicians, soldiers, bankers, officers, agents, citizens, so on and so forth. And the status that you hold in society is relevant to the type of authority and control that you wield over your own life and perhaps others. Ultimately, you were born into this world with sovereign powers, with natural and inherent freedoms and rights. This means you have the paramount authority to exercise your free will and intent to self-determine your status in this world. Right now, you hold the diminished status of a citizen. However, you can undergo a status correction and reinstate your sovereign freedoms and rights. You can correct your status in this world by removing yourself from citizenship as you claim the status of a sovereign. A sovereign is a man or woman who has chosen to self-determine, self-direct, and self-govern his or her own life, doing so independent from any other authority in this world. Sovereignty is about embarking on a significant and life-changing journey of leaving behind a corrupt world of wage slavery, debt slavery, and tax slavery. Sovereignty is where you establish your own constitution and raise your own flag to become the supreme ruler of your life. And this is not just some fantasy play, not some theory or concept. What I'm saying to you is real and practical. Status correction is a lawful process with procedures that are recognized in law. A change of status is an official act of motion that you conduct through the issuance of sovereign documents that officially revokes and cancels your citizenship to a nation state, where you can officially announce, assert, and record your status as a sovereign man or woman in this world. And here I want to clarify this fact. Becoming a sovereign is not you changing your status, it is you correcting your status. You are reasserting your natural and inherent freedoms and rights. Your true and authentic status has always been a divine being with the absolute authority, free will, and freedom over your own life. This is who you are, or rather, this is who you were before your life was bonded to a system, bonded to a corporate legal world that reduces you, minimizes you, and limits you, that prevents you from expressing your true potential, which is only possible once you have unshackled yourself from the constraints of the system, once you have chosen to move beyond your fears of the unknown, once you choose to embark on a new journey of achieving personal sovereignty in your life. And so there you have it. You are now informed about your life as a citizen and how you can correct your status, how you can reclaim and reassert your natural freedoms and rights as a sovereign man or woman. And if this information resonates with you, if you are interested to learn more about sovereignty, then I would love to connect with you so that I can utilize my knowledge and skills to empower and enhance your life. When it comes to sovereignty, if you want to create a life of freedom, peace, and prosperity, then I am here for you.